One question I've been asked a lot recently is to do with the ease or otherwise of transferring video files around. Usually to try and see how we can make them smaller or how we can make them transfer quicker. Usually this is to do with file size. Videos, by their very nature, are large file sizes because you have not only the audio, also the video element to the file. And that makes the file size big. But there are things you can do to reduce that file size. Two main things you can do. Number one is to reduce the resolution of your camera on your phone. And number two could be to use a video compression app as well. Let me take you through both of those processes. You can see I'm looking at my Android phone here. So let me open up the camera app. And you can see I'm looking out my front window via the fan. This is irrelevant, to be fair. Up at the top left-hand corner, though, I have my cog icon, which will give me access to the setting for the camera app. And there it's there. There are various different settings involved here. The ones I'm interested in, however, for this video, are the rear and front video sizes. Now, for this demonstration, I'm going to be using the rear video size, but the same options apply for the front video size as well. It depends which side of the phone you're going to use to shoot your video from. If I open up the rear video size, you can see the various options I have to me there. Now this phone, by default, was set to UHD, which stands for Ultra High Definition. And it gives you a number there, 3840 by 2160. Now for a lot of people these numbers don't mean very much, but I'll explain them in a second. But before I do that, let me open up the options here so you can see the various different resolutions that we have available to us. You see we have everything going from 3840 by 2160 right down to HD, which is 1280 by 720. Now what these numbers represent are the number of pixels on the screen. A pixel is nothing more or less than a coloured dot. And this number will tell you how many there are across the screen and from top to bottom. Now, if you treat them as mathematical calculations, then it'll tell you how many pixels there are on the screen. And me being the nice guy that I am, I've done the calculations for you. 3840 by 2160 comes out at 8,294,400, so nearly 8.3 million pixels. The middle one, FHD, stands for Full HD, Full High Definition, 1920 by 1080. That'll come out at just over 2 million pixels, 2,073,600. So immediately that would be a quarter of the size of Ultra HD. The lowest resolution on this particular phone is HD, which still stands for High Definition, and that's 1280 by 720, and that comes out at 921,600, so less than 1 million pixels. So you can see that even by looking at these numbers, the HD option is going to give you a much more manageable file size. Now thinking about pixels is a bit of an abstract thing. You're not entirely sure what you're looking at, but if you change the word pixels and turn it into ping pong balls, it might make more sense. Because if you imagine using the HD option at the bottom, you've got nearly a million ping pong balls. That's going to require a fair-sized basket in which to put them all if you're going to move them around somewhere. If you, however, you use the top option, Ultra HD, 60 frames per second, 3840 by 2160, 8.3 million ping pong balls, that's going to take a much bigger basket. And it's going to be heavier and it's going to be more cumbersome to move around. That's basically how file transfer works. Okay, so the first thing you can do if you're looking to reduce your file size of your videos is to reduce the resolution of your camera, whichever camera you're using to take the video with. Now I can demonstrate this. If I go back to here and go to my gallery, I took the liberty earlier on today of taking a couple of videos. You can see them both here. They're both the same basic video, 6 or 7 seconds long, and it's just a sweep round my back garden. If I open up this one here, It will play for you. There it's there. That's my back garden, isn't it lovely? Lovely British summer's day as well. Anyway, if I swipe up from here, you can see the content of the video there, and you can see it was shot at Ultra HD 3840 by 2160, and it comes out at nearly 60 megabytes. Don't worry too much about what a megabyte is. It's just basically the size of the video, the file size. So that's all fine. If, however, I show you the other video, which is the exact same video, shot 3 seconds after I finished the first one, it looks exactly the same. The same quality of image. There's no real loss in quality there. But if I scroll up, you can see that's shot at the lowest quality here, 1280 by 720, and that comes out at just over 7.5 megabytes. 60 compared to 7. So you can see the difference there in the file size. It's a good example of how you can reduce the file size very easily by just adjusting the quality of your resolution in your camera. Now, if you or your students are using a particularly poor internet connection, even 7 megabytes might be quite a big file to move around. Well, never fear, because help is at hand. If you go to your app provider, which for Android is the Play Store, and for iPhones would be the App Store, there are lots of video compressor apps available to you, and most of them are free. Let me show you one that I've installed here. It's this one here. It's called Video Compressor. If I open it up, the way it works is it decides, okay, I'm going to take your video and I'm going to make it smaller. Now, how does it do it? To be honest, it's pretty irrelevant, but if you go back to the ping pong ball analogy, imagine instead of all those ping pong balls being just in your bag rattling around, imagine you decided to squish them down and just make them all smaller and a bit more easy to manage. The quality of each pixel or each ping pong ball is then reduced slightly, and therefore the overall quality of the video is going to be reduced slightly as well. And how much it's reduced will be determined by how much you compress the video. Let me show you how it works. I'm going to go to the camera there. I'm going to open up the big video. You can see there 59.3 megabytes. That's the large video that I took using the Ultra HD resolution earlier on. I'm now going to ask it to compress the video, just using the top button there. You may get an advert at that point, just to get rid of that. But here it asks you how much do you want to compress the video by, and it shows you down the right hand side what the resulting file size will be. So for example, if I just compress it very, very slightly from down to 95%, it will still come out at 53 meg. And if you remember, we started off at 59 meg, it's quite a lot. So you want to reduce it more than that, and it's up to yourself how much you reduce it by. I'm going to just demonstrate I can actually take that video right down to 20%, which is less than 3 megabytes. Remember, we're going from nearly 60 down to 3. Let me tap on there. It will compress it for me. And you can see when it plays the video that the quality of the video has been reduced. But you have to ask yourself now, is that reduced too much? You can see it's not as clear, but is it clear enough for what you want to do or what your students want to do? If you're just letting them hear how a piece of music sounds with you playing it, the quality of the audio isn't really affected at all. The quality of the video is. So it depends on what you want to do. And it may be a case of, okay, that's compressed too far, let's take one of the more middle compressions and go for that one. But this lets you see that I can take a 60 megabyte video and reduce it down to just over 2. Imagine if I did that with the 7 megabyte video, what the resulting video file would be. It would be less than 1 megabyte, which is the size of an image, if you're going to transfer that around, much, much smaller. As a final real-world example, I can tell you that when I was working with the Reach video for Eastern Berkshire Council, I had various video files sent to me from pupils. One of them, in fact two of them, were 1.6 gigabytes big, which is, how can I put that, 1,600 megabytes. And some of them, for the same length of video, because it was just recording the song, were less than 20 megabytes. And the quality was exactly the same. You could see every bit of detail in both of those videos. So that's what to remember when you're looking to move video files around and to work with smaller file sizes. Change the resolution if you have to, and if you're still looking to make it smaller, consider downloading a free video compression app and using that. I hope you find that useful. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.